If you treat China in December 2025 as a wealth health check report, the most eye-catching 4 characters on the page would be comprehensive shrinking. The 2 most important baskets for China's middle class, real estate and wealth management products, one is falling, the other exploding. The once most stable career path, working in an office, is being squeezed into a corner by the wave of gig work. So you see, people smashing model displays at sales centers, people being carried away from provincial government buildings, people delivering food until midnight, people returning to their villages only to find their land gone, and others beginning to study how to leave the country. All of this seems to answer the same question. I followed all the rules. Why did I end up a negative asset person? Negative, of course, meaning spending more than one earns. And so, ordinary Chinese people long accustomed to being compliant subjects can no longer. Storming the tower online happens not only on Douyin but even in the comments section of People's Daily. A comedy skit by Taipei Xiangsheng actor Huang Yihao, sharply mocking Xi Jinping, has gone viral across the internet. Public sentiment is pouring out through the cracks of high-pressure stability maintenance. 2026 may become the year that troubles both the CCP and Xi Jinping the most. Don't miss the next drop, subscribe and hit the bell. The 2 wallets of the middle class, housing falling, wealth products exploding. For urban Chinese middle class, the most faith-like investment choices of the past 20 years were 2 things: real estate and guaranteed principal wealth products. Houses could be lived in and would rise in value, wealth products generated interest and allowed people to sleep well. But now, both wallets are leaking at the same time. Falling housing prices is no longer news. What really makes people lose control is the kind of sudden evaporation. A user named Yesterday posted a video on X showing, from December 19th to 20th, a conflict erupted among buyers at China Resources Land's Harbor Joy City project in Xi'an. Many owners said the average price had previously been around 15,000 renminbi per square meter, yet suddenly on December 19th it dropped to 8,500 to 9,000 RMB/M superscript 2 in a clearance sale, a 40 to 50% slash. At the scene, owners smashed the sandbox model and other facilities in the sales center, and someone shouted the now viral sentence: "I earned 6,000 a month, and tonight you made me lose 600,000. But that wasn't the only powder keg. Owners also directed anger at the school district promises. Many said that during sales, they were implicitly or explicitly promised access to a prestigious school. But after handover, it evaporated, from Xi'an's famous Tai Yizhong to an urban village-level school. The premium they paid went to zero instantly. In a downward housing market, developers, cutting flesh to survive, is understandable, but for families carrying 30-year mortgages, draining savings of 2 generations, 6 wallets, this kind of drop is not a fluctuation but a fault line. Wealth management explosions push middle class to the wall. Ex-user, Teacherly is not your teacher, posted that on December 5th, the Zhejiang Financial Asset Exchange Center, Shijin Center, blew up. Hundreds of investors protested at the provincial government. Videos showed many being violently detained. Victims said the center was 40% owned by Zhejiang and Ningbo governments, involving tens of billions RMB, and is now unable to pay out. On December 20th, victims gathered again shouting, "Zhejiang, return our money." Large numbers of auxiliary police guarded the scene, some victims fainted. Media reports confirmed the defaulted products were backed by Xiang Yuan Holdings and its actual controller Yu Faxiang, who used the Zhejiang platform to raise funds, promising 4 to 5% yields, but ultimately failed to repay principal or interest. More critical is the regulatory background. On October 31, 2024, Zhejiang's local Financial Supervision Bureau announced it would revoke Zhejiang's license, but stated this would not affect handling existing obligations. After losing its qualification, on January 2025, it renamed itself Zhejiang Asset Operation Company. Its website repeatedly published risk warnings, saying it only publishes information and provides no guarantees for investors. In other words, the middle class's greatest fear is becoming real. The contract is still there, the money is gone, the obligations remain, but no one honors the payout. Clearance slashing versus lifetime mortgage. When people smash sandboxes, they're really smashing fate ***. Returning to the Xi'an sales center, you realize people weren't smashing a model, they were smashing an entire life formula. Early buyers treated top school plus central SOE developer as two layers of insurance. SOE meant no unfinished projects, stable quality. School district meant a head start for children. Higher prices were acceptable, after all, real estate only goes up. But now everything has reversed. SOEs can stab you in the back with sudden price cuts. School district promises can be delayed, altered, or vanish. Yet mortgage interest, monthly payments, credit records, and family conflicts never shrink. This is why such mathematical breakdowns have appeared, 10 years of hard-earned down payment wiped out by one promotional poster. Therefore, today's rights-defending actions look increasingly like emotional explosions, because avenues for rational negotiation are closing, leaving only glass doors and sandbox models to smash. The gig work wave, pushing people into the takeout box of new employment. Official rhetoric promotes expanding domestic demand and consumption, but reality follows a colder logic. Unstable income, fear of spending, weaker consumption, worse employment, more people forced into gig work. The Wall Street Journal described this surge vividly. A takeout courier, Su Hui, went from barbering to seasonal factory work to food delivery, 13 to 14 hours a day, almost no days off. Income goes first to debt, then to his family. A 37-year-old man from northeast China told Wall Street Journal he had 3 traffic accidents, while 3 colleagues at his delivery station died on the job. Research shows China has around 200 million gig workers. Self-employed people now make up 30% of non-agricultural labor, up from 20% in 2013. More heartbreaking is the shift in mindset. Wall Street Journal reported falling housing prices have shaken household wealth. Housing accounts for nearly 70% of Chinese family assets, creating deep anxiety. Shanghai banker Michael Huang was laid off this year. He bought a home in 2019 at 110,000 renminbi per square meter, Manhattan prices. Even with savings, the twin blow of job loss and shrinking assets made him immediately stop buying any big-ticket items. Shenzhen's Andy Yu, a Gen Z professional, said falling home prices directly hit those who treated real estate as an investment, losing tens of thousands of dollars. He shifted from ambition to caution. He noticed wealthy families moving capital overseas, while lower-income groups focused solely on saving. A college graduate, Shen Jiban, 2.5 years after graduation, now survives on odd jobs and parental support. He decided, no house, no car, no rush to marry. This choice itself is a declaration by many young Chinese. For Chinese people, facing a worsening economic climate, the most important thing is to keep the job they have, even if they resent it. Rural China is also reaching the breaking point. Land, demolitions, cremation orders, and the fear of returning home ***. While urban middle class explodes in sales centers, rural powder kegs lie buried in land and survival. On December 19, The Guardian cited Freedom House's China Descent Monitor. As of the first 11 months of 2025, 661 rural protests were recorded, up 70% from 2024. Analyses point to land seizures under local government debt pressure, inadequate compensation, and the shock faced by migrant workers who return home after 20 years only to find no land, no benefits, no opportunities. In late November, Chinese authorities unusually ordered all regions to prevent large-scale return of migrant workers. This instinct to block people first essentially acknowledges cities can't absorb them, villages can't either. Australian-based scholar Yuan Hongbing said. The CCP's security apparatus focuses on major cities, but in rural China, amid economic decline and bankrupt local finances, county-level governments are defaulting on civil servant salaries, including police officers. This itself is a sign of regime decline. He believes this year's rising rural unrest is accumulating energy for a major mass uprising. Behind the prosperity narrative, the wave of exit, asylum, and online backlash ***. When housing, wealth products, and employment all narrow at the same time, people look for a fourth path, leaving. Recent years have seen surges in asylum seekers. According to UNHCR data compiled by human rights groups. In 2024, Chinese asylum applicants reached 176,000. And from 2012 to 2024, total Chinese asylum seekers exceeded 1 million, surpassing the 1 million mark. Commentator New Highland wrote. Under Xi Jinping's slogan-filled, prosperous era, why are Chinese refugees surging? First, economic reasons. Despite propaganda about new normal and high-quality development, the lockdowns, economic downturn, and sky-high youth unemployment, over 30%, destroyed middle-class confidence. In 2023, FDI collapsed, real estate crashed, accelerating capital and talent flight. Second, political pressure. She emphasizes national security, increasing censorship, dissidents flee. Many asylum seekers cite religious, political, or human rights persecution. Over 1 million have sought refuge since 2012. China's employment environment continues to deteriorate, many risk everything to escape, simply to earn wages abroad. Thus the slogans and reality diverge. Chinese dream became immigration dream. The Great Rejuvenation came with the Great Escape. And those who remain inside the Great Firewall release their emotions differently. On December 12, 2025, People's Daily's headline proclaimed, in every country of the world, Chinese people must be prepared to resolutely defend peace and justice, stand by at any moment. The comment section imploded. Even Takashi Sanai dares to disclose her assets. Do you? On behalf of 1.4 billion people, I challenge you to a duel. Whoever calls for war, I'll eliminate him first. Lon Lon, is your passport and USD ready? You never invite me to drink and eat meat, but want me to die in your war? Sorry, my phone's dead. Huang Yihao's viral comedy skit mocking Xi Jinping. The Xiangsheng skit, the #1 idiot, Xi Jinping, went viral, with netizens saying, this is the most accurate, most brilliant critique of Xi in 20 years. Huang said in performance. Right now, there is an Eastern great nation to the west. Wait, an Eastern nation in the west? What a geographical mess. But the country is not only geographically chaotic. In the west, there is an Eastern great nation where a sage descended and a true dragon ascended the throne. He stands about 1.78 m tall, slick back hair, small eyes, short neck, fleshy nose, plump figure, resembling Winnie the Pooh. He claims great strength, able to carry 200 gen of grain for 10 li without switching shoulders. And he is exceedingly wise, with only a primary school education, using an agriculture thesis to obtain a doctorate in law. After taking power, he purged rivals under the excuse of fighting corruption. Then amended the constitution to become emperor, ruling as the sole authority. In the year of the pig, he forced the national security law, sparking Hong Kong's turmoil. Millions marched in protest. At the end of the same year, Wuhan pneumonia broke out. His Majesty personally commanded 3 years of zero COVID. One person positive, tens of thousands locked down. Livelihoods destroyed, trade severed, people desperate, holding white paper to protest. Since his governance began, making chips, saving real estate, boosting population, eradicating poverty, countless slogans and projects ended in failure. The 100-year project Xiong'an became a ghost town. The Belt and Road created debt traps, harming many allies. Wolf warrior diplomacy provoked global backlash. Under the banner of national rejuvenation, countless fanatical, pink behaviors exploded. As people lost hope, censorship tightened. Under strict controls, thousands-year-old civilization could barely write a sentence without acronyms. Using national power to silence dissent, promoting xenophobia, producing a once-in-a-millennium tyrant. Thus his governance resembles flipping a pancake. Leading wolf warrior fanboys, slamming the gas while driving backward. The #1 idiot, Xi Jinping. This may not equal organized resistance, but it reveals a shift. Fear is declining, mockery is rising, and the performance of obedience is becoming harder to sustain. Putting the pieces together. In Xi'an, homeowners smash sandboxes because SOE plus school district insurance failed. In Zhejiang, investors block the provincial government because even state-backed wealth products no longer pay out. In cities, white-collar workers and laborers are shoved together into the gig economy flood, working long hours with unstable income, depressing consumption even further. In rural areas, land and survival conflicts intensify, with recorded protests rising. In distant countries, asylum numbers become reverse indicators of the prosperous era. This is not one province or one industry having problems, it is many people simultaneously realizing. The prosperity contract. Work hard and life improves. Buying a home preserves wealth. Rules will be honored. Is being torn apart piece by piece. When the contract breaks, rights defense becomes more frequent, mockery louder, flight faster. The only question left is, where will the next domino fall?